Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I thank the gentleman from Colorado. Mr. Chairman, I strongly oppose all three of these Congressional Review Act resolutions on the floor because the reality is these would overhaul years of public input. They would silence tribal voices, erase science-based planning, all so that this administration can hand millions of acres of our public lands over to the fossil fuel industry for extraction. Now, public lands should be our country's proudest legacy. They're our natural heritage, a national treasure, and the agencies responsible for stewarding them, like the Bureau of Land Management and the Forest Service, diligently manage these resources for the future through the careful development of these resource management plans and forest plans. The BLM plans, or the RMPs, are carefully crafted to establish safeguards for wildlife, recreation areas, watersheds, and to identify suitable areas for energy development as well. And that includes also grazing and logging and other commercial activities. They have to balance all of it in these RMPs. And it's based on a robust input from communities, stakeholders, the public, on government-to-government consultation with the impacted tribes as well. But the Republican majority has proven time and again that they don't want any of that public process. They simply want to hand things over to big oil and big coal, and this week they are right back at it. They're making us vote on legislation that would turn public lands, the management of public lands, upside down, throwing it into chaos, and all to just score that quick win for their fossil fuel buddies because the existing plans don't give away the store the way they would like to do. And it doesn't matter that this might upend the system that grants land ownership to Alaska Native veterans of the Vietnam War, which is what one of these RMPs does, or that tribal governments have spent years working in good faith with the federal government to develop land management plans that both allow for energy development and protect subsistence hunting and fishing resources. That's what they're blowing up with these CRAs. Not to mention that if these CRAs are signed into law, the validity of every single permit, lease, and federal approval that's been issued based on one of these RMPs would suddenly be called into question and subject to litigation. So I will remind my colleagues once again, they don't have to go down this road. The gentleman from Colorado mentioned that the CRA has never been used to overturn a resource management plan. There are perfectly valid ways for achieving the same goals in the Federal Land Policy and Management Act. It's what the Biden administration did to update these plans, and it's what the Trump administration has already announced it intends to do. And so I certainly expect to disagree with the outcomes and the objectives of the Trump administration's efforts to amend these RMPs. If they followed the formal process, at least, though, we would have a chance to make our case in that process, and it wouldn't imperil existing permits and leases. And most importantly, it would require community input and tribal consultation. So I strongly urge my colleagues, let's not continue this race to the bottom. You have already thrown so many norms out the window. You have already disregarded Democrats in all of your legislation. You've started this radical appropriations process where it's party line Republican only. So many norms being trashed, and now for the first time, you're going to do this using the CRA to resource management plans. Stop the race to the bottom. Vote against this CRA resolution package. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back.